Assalamu alaikum, family. You're tuned into the Sajda channel, and I'm your host, Sajda Wendy Muhammad. Come on in, bring a friend over. We're just going to chit chat this morning a little bit. It's the morning before our great and historic Black Opera in White event, and I just want to motivate y'all today. Today, I'm going to be your old school motivational teacher this morning. So I'll be back after a few announcements and go tell somebody to jump on. We'll see you in a few.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee. And he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee. And I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible...
Assalamu alaikum, family. How's everyone? I am so excited today. Guess what today is? It's Black Opera in White Day at the Elijah Muhammad House Museum. I am so excited. It's a historic day, something that's never been done before. It's a journey through Blackness in operatic tone. So high vibrational. Look, we're going to heal some folks in there today. I'm going to say it again. We're going to heal some folks in there this afternoon. Whatever you come there with, just bring it on, and we're going to do some healing today. We got some high vibrational set lists that we've curated. We're sitting there. It's a very intimate environment. I can already feel the presence of God in the room. The artist is excited. I talked to her last night. I'm going to reach out to her after we get off to see how she's doing. She's been working on these songs and listen, and we spiritually curated it. Let me tell you, when we were putting together the set list, it was like literally both of us was like, oh, God is in the room. God is present. God is talking. And y'all know me. I'm unapologetic with it. I spent enough time denying God's presence in my life or trying to hide it a little bit, but And this house is so sacred and so alive. And that probably sounds crazy to people, but it's so alive. If I put something in the house that it doesn't like, it lets me know. I'll give you an example. I had this tile that I was going to get for the kitchen, and it was this beautiful sort of like it's like a terracotta, and it had these copper veins in it, and I thought it was really pretty. I liked it, so I got a slab of it, right? And the basic color on it was like a cream, so like a creamish, really like dark creamish with copper veins going through it, right? I got it, and I said, I'm going to set it on the floor. This is before we, got the stuff down on the floor, but I put that piece in there, and I said, let's just see, you know how sometimes you got to live with something. And so I'll walk around it and see what it looks like. And I left, and usually this kind of stuff, it happens overnight. So that morning when I came in and I looked at it and I said, did I accidentally buy a piece of gray tile? I was like, I know I ain't buying no gray tile. I picked it up and turned it over, and it's got the color and the color number on it. So I put it back on. I went back to the shop online. I went to the shop online and I looked at the color. I said, no, this is the color. So why is it gray? So later on that day, and I have witnesses on this, Brother Abel and his wife, Sister Ayana, and their family were coming by. I think we were going to start cleaning. It might have been leading up to one of the events or Savior's Day or something like that. And I said, look at this tile, you guys. And I want to say one of them said, oh, you're going with this gray. And I said, this tile is not gray. And you could say it's the way the light hit it. You could say whatever you want to say. And I said, we're going to put it outside and see what happens to it when it gets outside. We put the tile outside. It's still out there and leaned against the wall to this day. And it turned back to the tan color with the copper veins. And they were looking at me like, whoa. I'm telling y'all, I had a picture frame that I put a picture of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in back in the day. I think it was a picture from like the late 50s. And I was rushing. It was around Savior's Day. I didn't have a lot of time. And so admittedly, the frame was a little cheap. And I was like, I think, let's see if we could get away with this. So I put it up on the easel, left out to go do something. No, I put it up on the easel and I was telling Sister Aletha about it. took a picture of it, and I told her, I said, it's a little cheap. She was like, you might be able to get away with it. And I said, well, let me go out. I'm going to see if I can find something. I said, if not, then, I'm going to go with this. So I took a picture of it, came back, and the frame had busted. It had cracked at the top. I took another picture and sent it to her. I said, you know what? This, clearly this ain't the frame. And then she went out with me that Saturday, and we found a new frame. Then there's been so many things just this week. I had this beautiful table that somebody had given me. It's an amazing dining room table. And I had it in the sitting room during Savior's Day. And I said, well, you know what? Let's move it to the dining room because we're doing the opera and it can't be here. So you move it to the dining room. And the thought was, sorry guys, I should have turned this off. The thought was that, we have a backup table, an additional table. We're supposed to be getting this table from Imam Sultan. And I was like, this stuff is so heavy to move. At least if it takes us time to get that one moved, and I know he's got it in storage and we may have to do some stuff to it. Let's use this one for now. Table sat there all day. I think it was Wednesday and Thursday. No. Yeah. Came yesterday, half the table was on the floor. And I had literally just said, or somebody said to me, did you check to see if the Honorable Elijah Muhammad liked that table? And we just laughed. Couldn't fix the table. Couldn't figure out what to do. Couldn't figure out we had to move the table out. So I'm just saying, this house is alive. You got to come here to one of the events. If you need healing, if you got anything going on with you, come there. We're going to raise your vibration, help you access more options, more opportunities. And inshallah, you will leave feeling better than you did when you got there. And you at least will have experienced the presence of Almighty God. That I'm telling you. And what I do before every event, after I get everything set up, I go and I pray in every room over the house to just give it that energy. I do that in my personal house. Like if somebody's coming over or, Thanksgiving, holidays, I just go and I pray in every room just to, bring that presence in. So I did that yesterday. So we're ready and I'm excited and I can't wait to see you all there. Let's see. Good morning and assalamu alaikum, Brother Lamont, Sister Monica. I think Sister Monica, you coming, right? Wa alaikum salam. Happy Saturday, Mom. I see y'all. So I'm just sitting here drinking me some chai. I got a motivational video for y'all. It's to help us with procrastination. But I love my chai. When you travel, it expands your palate. And the reason why traveling, some people say, well, you don't have to travel. You can just go to those places and experience the different cuisines in your city. And if you live in a place like Chicago, you got diversity of restaurants and stuff like that. That's why you got to come to the Taste of Black Chicago. But when we get past the opera, we get ready to tell you something. I got a big announcement to tell y'all about that. And yes, that does help. It will help you get your palate acclimated to different flavors. But when you travel, it really expands your palate because you don't have a choice. So whatever you find that you like, you don't always necessarily have an American alternative. Safe travel, Sister Monica. See you. We got a lot of people flying in for the opera. I'm so grateful for you all. Safe travel, sis. I cannot wait to see you in the flesh. But I just talked to 2 or 3 people that's on their way to the airport and they heading here. So be on time, 3 o'clock, because once the opera starts, you'll have to wait till intermission in order to come in. So we can't interrupt her performance with people coming in and talking. And I can't put you in another room because I don't want you to be a noise distraction or anything like that. And be sure to wear white. Okay. Bring your mothers. If you the type and you and your mom celebrate Mother's Day, bring your mother. Love on your mom. Bring her. Just come on. Bring your husband. Come on. Come by yourself. Come on. Bring your wife. Come by yourself. Whatever. Anyway, back to the chai. So when I would travel, I fell in love with chai, and I would have chai in different places because a lot of times in other countries, the coffee is really strong. It's not coffee like we have here in the state, which is really a lot of cream and sugar, but their coffee is so strong, and I can't handle it. And so I love coffee, but I don't like it that strong. But their coffee is usually really strong, and they'll serve it in those little cups. So I started drinking chai, which does have a little bit of black tea in it, depending on how you do it. I don't do mine with black tea. I'm going to tell y'all about that in a minute. And so when I come back home, I would buy these bags, and I was like, nah, these tea bags ain't cutting it. And then my girl, Sunyata, I'm in DC with her tea company. She makes an amazing chai, and she makes a rooibos chai, which is non-caffeine. So her base of it is not black tea, it's a red tea from South, like a rooibos is usually a South African tea. And I love South African rooibos. So, but still I wasn't getting all the flavors I wanted. So I just curated my own. I can't wait to serve it to you all at Sajda House. Some of you all who know me have had it. Mom's in the chat. She's had it. And so that's what we got this morning. You can add a little oat milk to it if you want. That's generally what I do. You can put honey with it. But it's a rooibos-based chai with all my other spices and stuff in it. And I spice it up to the way I like it. I like it super spicy. So that's what I'm drinking on this morning. Let me get y'all this motivational video so y'all can stop all this procrastinating that y'all doing. I don't know why we do that as the people, but we do it. Check this out. Check this out.
Longest time in the world is the hesitation between thought and action. It can actually be forever. You can hesitate for 1 second to get started on something, a workout, a project, a task, something that you know you should do. You can hesitate for 1 second. That 1 second of hesitation, all of a sudden it turns into 5 seconds, and then 10 seconds, and then 10 minutes. And then just like that, you drifted into the eternity zone. 1 second in eternity, because something that was going to happen is now never going to happen, ever. Why is that? Because you hesitated. So don't take that chance. Instead, take action. A body in motion tends to stay in motion. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. You've had enough damn rest.
You got to get to the point in your life where you decide, I have had it. I'm tired of being a loser.
I got tired of losing. I got tired of coming up short. I got tired. I want to move to the nicest neighborhood. I want to fly first class. I want to go to Hawaii. I made a decision. Enough is enough. It's showtime. In order for you to go from one level to the next level, in order for any woman to transition, for any man to transition, the thing that they want must be greater than the thing they currently have. Humans do not transition to another level when they're comfortable with the level that they're on. You only go to another level when you say, enough is enough. I want you to live the life you were meant to live. You hear me? Not the life that was given to you. You deserve to see what your life would look like if you gave 120%. And what I need you to do is I need you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, come on, stop playing. I deserve to see what my life would look like if I gave 120%. That's lion mode. And you got to get to a place where you start executing.
Making a freaking plan is the easy part. And you have to understand, if you don't execute, on the plan, if you don't get up in the morning when you're feeling tired, scared, if you don't execute, you're not just cheating yourself, dude. You're cheating your family. You're cheating your employees. You're cheating your team. Whatever you're a part of, it's bigger than you, man.
And guess what? I had to get up even though it was hard, and I had to take ownership of my life, take ownership of my time, take ownership of my day. And if those of you messed up, why? Because you don't understand, think, act, eat, rest. We're talking about a schedule. I realized that my strength is in my routine. Why? Because I'm not as strong as I thought I was. I'm not as intelligent as I thought I was. It's in my routine. It's what I do every day repeatedly. The DNA of your success is in your routine. You're not as deep as you think you are. You got to find a routine. I'm getting up at 3 and stick with it. I'm getting up at 5 and stick with it. Yeah, out of 365 days, we'll have a bad day or two, but I'm trying to tell you the strength is in the routine. Find a routine and stick with it. No more dreaming. Dreaming is over. I need specifics. What are you doing on Monday? What are you doing on Tuesday? What are you doing on Wednesday? You need to be very specific. It's time to put your piecing together of your puzzle. Nobody gave me this. I earned it. Life isn't a crystal stair for me. Didn't nobody give me a network. I earned the network. I worked my way to the NBA. I worked my way to the NFL. Everybody say, E, how did you crack the code? I grinded my way through the code. That's how I cracked it. I got up every day at 3. I don't care what the economy is doing. I don't care who the president is. Nobody helped me to get here. I had to get up. I had to go to class. I had to read. I had to study. I had to write. I understood that the dream is real, but the lifestyle is realer. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. Stay predictable. Stay consistent. And the reason why many of you are not getting it is because you're not consistent. You start and you stop. You get pumped up. You start strong, and then somewhere in the middle, you quit. You have a little success, but you don't experience exponential growth because you're not consistent. You got to be persistent. You got to be locked in. You can't scoreboard watch. Too many of you scoreboard watching. Every time you do something, you're looking up to see the score. You stopping working to look at yourself. You're not grinding. You glaring. You should be grinding and you looking at the score. The score is what it is. The score ain't about to change because you looked at it. Keep playing the game. Keep grinding. Keep working. And that other stuff will take care of itself. I'm challenging you to get from where you are. I'm challenging you to stop settling. I'm challenging you to stop accepting the life that was given to you. And I'm challenging you to give 120%. If you're going to do what you say you're going to do, be what you say you're going to be, you're going to have to lion me out. You a gazelle, you're going to come up short. You a gazelle, you're not always going to get what you want out of life. You a gazelle, you're going to have an average experience. You a student, I need you in lion mode. You a teacher, I need you in lion mode. You an entrepreneur, I need you in lion mode. You trying to lose weight, lion mode. You can't do nothing significant in gazelle mode, nothing. Nothing impressive happens in gazelle mode. Nothing happens in run mode, give up mode, quit mode, scared mode, fearful mode. Nothing happens. Everything happens in lion mode like I'm coming to get you. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul, with all your heart. You focus on this, and tomorrow will take care of itself.
Download this.
I love it. You see, when you get up and go to work, when you put the time in, you put the motivation, see, that's not believing in a spook God. See, a lot of us just think that we're going to heal just from a spook God. We think we're going to lose weight from a spook God. We think the money going to fall out of the sky. And everything about us is, oh, what a miracle. Oh, this and oh, that. Do you know what's happening to you? Is that you're just temporarily going in and out of consciousness, temporarily going in and out of your connection with God. And when you connect for those few seconds, you get a little extra money. When you connect for those few seconds, you lose a few pounds. When you connect for those few seconds, you find that parking space. But what would happen if you connected all the time? What would happen? See, don't blame none of that on God. Your disconnection, you say, oh, well, he just wasn't with it. Or your connection, you say, oh, he was with me. He's with you all the time. It's always there. Allah always there. It's us who are tapping in and out of it. And when we tap in, we think, woo, you should be tapping in all the time. It should be your way of life. I'm going to say it again. Should be tapping in all the time. It's your way of life. So everything that you're doing should be about being at that vibrational level so that you can stay tapped in, tuned on, and turned up. Miracles, that shouldn't even be a word in your vocabulary because you're living at that level. Your vocabulary should be just, oh, thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you. I can't tell you how to live your life, but I'm telling you that I'm looking at you and I can tell all you're doing is tapping in and out. You go in and out, in and out. You get something, it works out good, and then you come right back out because you go start talking about somebody. You tap in, something happens to you that you want, you tap back out because then you go lying again. You tap in, something happens to you that works out good, and then you tap out because you say, okay, I'm here, and you stop praying. You tap in, something good happens to you. You make it through something challenging, whatever. You go in the hospital, you come out healthy and whole. They diagnose you with something crazy. Next thing you know, it ain't there. You tapped in under stress. But then you come back and tap out. And you go do something that you know you ain't got no business doing. What I'm saying is be about it. Be about that life. And one of the ways to do it is what the brother was describing in the video is get up and go to work. I make it a habit not to lie to myself. If I tell myself I'm going to start lifting weights, then I lift weights. If I tell myself that I'm getting ready to go work out, then I go do it. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to keep my word to myself because I want my brain to know that when I say something, this is what it's going to be. When I make a command, then my body knows this is what's going down. And I put my head down and go to work. I don't want my body or my mind saying, you a liar. Your ego always saying something. You said you was going to write a book. You said you was going to do this. You said you was going to do that. You ain't going to do it, so I ain't even getting up neither. Now I want my body to know. Let me tell you, when I start practicing this, if I say to myself, I think I need to lose 5 pounds, before I even start the process of whatever I'm going to do to lose the 5 pounds, my body already gets in motion. I can get on the scale and I'll be like a pound or a half a pound down just from saying it. Why? Because my body is conditioned to understand that I am in charge and it must respond to me. This is why we fast. If I say I'm fasting on Monday, then I'm fasting on Monday. I don't care how much. I fasted Monday and I'm still craving. I want a turkey burger and some fries. Or I say I want a veggie burger and some fries. I don't care how much I want it. I don't care how excited about it I am. I don't care if I go in the store and I see something and I'm tempted to grab something. I don't care because I told myself, I told my body that this is what I am doing. So my body already knows this is what we're doing because she don't lie to us. See, that's the first place we have to start telling the truth. And I'm telling you, you will start to see your body start to move in a certain way. If I say, ooh, we're going to heal some people up in here at the opera event today. I'm just so grateful. We're going to draw that in. We're going to command that healing energy. We're going to command that higher frequency. Guess what? I start feeling the higher frequency before I even get there. If I say, oh, we're going to this event, we're going to have a good time. We're going to have fun. We're going to be excited. And guess what's going to happen? I'm going to start having fun and being excited before I even get there. If I say I don't want to go, I ain't really happy about it. I don't like the people. I don't really think it's going to be a good time, then guess what happens? I'm low vibrational before I get there, and I don't have the time that I could have had. So it's all about getting up and not believing in a spook God. Get up and go to work. Put your head down and just say enough is enough. I want to live a different lifestyle. I want to look different. I want to dream different. I want to be different. I remember when I was sitting up there, I think I was in the office, homeless, didn't have nowhere to go. And I said, I ain't finna live like this. This ain't who I am. Sneaking in the office to wash up in the bathroom, so hopefully won't nobody see me. Got clothes in my car, clothes in storage that I end up losing. This ain't me. Why am I living like this? I'm living like this because I'm believing in a spook God. Get your ass up and go to work. I said, no, I'm not living like this. Denying aspects of myself, and I know better. Putting myself in a situation where bad things can happen to me because I don't want to be myself, my spiritual, sensitive, psychic self, and I'm leaning on somebody else. What do they think? What do they want? Faking, trying to be like somebody else. You see somebody else, they dress a certain way, you go dress that way. You see somebody else, they act a certain way, you go act that way. I said, this ain't who I am. In my blood, in my DNA, I had already seen myself thousands of years ago. I'm a ruler. I'm a creative. I traveled the world. I already saw that as a little girl. I had international pen pals when I was 9, 10 years old. I had a pen pal in the United Emirates, and I had a pen pal in Africa, and I used to write them. I visually had already seen myself there. I love world history. I would open up that book and study the Tao Te Ching. And I told myself, I said, I'm going to understand all the different ways that there is to connect to God. Because I was learning about it and I was fascinated. And I didn't feel like, I grew up Catholic, and I didn't feel like it was teaching me to connect to God. It was just teaching me like these rituals and kind of like this spooky slave thing. But when I started studying Islam, Tao Te Ching, Bhagavad Gita, all in history class, Zoroastrianism, all of that. And I said, you know what? Hinduism, this stuff is interesting. And then as I started studying, I said, I need a home base. I need a home spiritual base. And I said, my home spiritual base is going to be Islam. But I didn't know what kind of Islam it was going to be. So I had bought I don't even remember what translation it is, but I had bought a Holy Quran. And never forget it. I was living in Indianapolis, Indiana. I had just got there. And I remember being mad because the company promised me that I was going to be in Chicago, and they reneged on me, and I just needed to get close. And my uncle lived in Indianapolis, so I was like, all right, we're going to go there. And I bought a Quran at this bookstore. Forget the name of the sister, was on Keystone. And I used to frequent these Black bookstores. I had a huge collection of Black books, you know, Jawanza Kunjufu, and they came before Columbus, Ivan Van Sertima, because I love history. So I was digging in. Didn't know anything about the Nation of Islam. I said, all right, I'm going to be a seeker. I'm going to know all of this other stuff about religion. I'm going to support this high sense of spirituality that I'm accepting about myself. I'm going to support that. Because I've always been empathic. And then you all know the story. And then I got invited out to hear the minister, and I remember listening to him sitting there. I said, oh, this is it. This is my base. This is it. And I fell in love, and I've been unapologetic about it ever since. What am I saying? I learned at an early age that you got to stop lying to yourself. If you say you're getting up at 7 a.m., let me tell you how serious I am about my word to myself. I may not necessarily need to get up at 7, but I may say I'm going to get up at 7. Let's say I say, no, let's do it this way. 7 is late for me. And I'll say, I'm going to wake up at 4. I'm usually up at 5 for prayer. So I'm going to wake up at 4 because I need to get up, let my chai steep, do my meditation, because I generally meditate before I pray. Because the idea is I want to calibrate my mind before I go into that communication with Allah. It's just something that I do. It's not a rule, it's just what I do. If I say to myself, I'm getting up at 4, I don't got to get up at 4, but I make myself get up at 4, even if I'm just up at 4 for 15 minutes, especially during Ramadan, where you go, you know what, I think I need a little bit more sleep, been fasting, I'm tired, but I make myself get up at 4 so that my brain knows that when I say something, I'm the boss. See, when you tell yourself you're going to fast, get up and do it. When you tell yourself you're going to go run, you're going to go do something, get up and do it. I remember signing up for this half Ironman, or it wasn't an Ironman. It was a mud run. Signed up for the mud run with some of my people from the gym. This is when I was in Maryland. And I remember after I started watching the videos of the mud run and stuff, I was like, girl, you are crazy. Are you sure you want to do this? But I wanted to challenge myself. And I said, I'm not going to tell myself I'm going to do this and not do it. It's just a little mud. And I couldn't get any of my friends or anybody close to me to go with me. So I went with folks from the gym who don't look like me. I'm the only one of us out there. Went and got me some braids because I knew the mud was going to be everywhere. And I did it. Mud. I'm talking about muddy. So muddy that at the end, you got to rinse off. They have these showers. You just rinse off in your clothes. And I had to put like a plastic bag down in the car to drive home. I had just bought this truck, and I was like, I ain't trying to get all this mud in the truck, but it was mud everywhere. I ended up having to get the car detailed, put a plastic bag in there, but I was muddy still. Got home, just peeled off all that crunchy mud in the garage, and then just went in the house. But I did it. And even though throughout the race, my body was saying, are you crazy, girl? Why are you here? And what are you doing? You don't look around. This is the conversation. There was somebody on this shoulder. There was a black girl going, look around, girl. Ain't nobody here that look like you. What you doing here? And I was like, I'm about to do the mud run. You can shut up. I'm in charge. And I did it because I told myself I was going to do it. You see? So what I want us to get out of this conversation today is that we have to stop lying to ourselves. Some of us are so disrespectful to ourselves. Not only do we engage in activities that takes us further and further away from our alignment with Allah, but we are always lying to ourselves. We say we're going to eat right. Nah, I start tomorrow. We say we're going to exercise. Nah, I start tomorrow. We say we're going to work on the book. Nah, I start tomorrow. We say we're going to stop cursing, but I just got to curse somebody out real quick. We say we're gonna whatever we say we're gonna do, we find it so easy to not keep our word to ourselves. And it's the reason why our body does not respond to what's happening in our mind. See, do you know that if we get the mind-body connection right, that we literally can heal ourselves? Seriously, literally. You can have a pimple on your face, and if your mind-body connection is right, you can heal that pimple overnight and wake up the next day and it's either gone or mostly gone. That's just a simple idea. You could cut yourself, and if you got the right mind-body connection, you can send healing to that cut. And by that next day, the next morning, next few days, that cut is healing faster than what it normally would. This is real talk. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Alita. Brother Lamont, I think I spoke to you already. Okay, I just saw y'all pop up. Seriously. All these things we could do. If you're looking in the mirror and you say, you know what, I don't really like the way I look, you could do something about it. You just got to get up and decide that you're going to do something about it. It's so funny because, we're working on the series entitled The Messenger's Residence. And we actually started it about a year ago. And I was 32 pounds heavier a year ago. I looked at that thing the other day and I was like, who is that fat chick? But my thing was, I was like, I don't care. We get ready to get this information out. And so now when they go to these other episodes, they're going to be like, wait, who is she? She a new person, new cast member? Yep, she knew. She's a new sister. She came from somewhere else. She came off the baby plane. Point being, y'all, is that we got to get up and do something for ourselves. Let's stop waiting on somebody else to do for us what we can do for ourselves. We got to get up. We got to go to work. We got to start figuring out, what do we need to change in our mind? What thoughts are you having that are stopping you and preventing you? And don't lie to me and tell me that you're thinking perfectly, because if you were so perfect, then you'd have everything that you want right now. So what do we need to tweak? Some of us spiritual people, I think I said this last time, I'm going to say it again. We have to stop and adjust the way we interact with God. We have to adjust how we see God. Some of us spiritual people, because all we do is beg, cry, act like sorcerers, and just try to beg and cry our way into whatever we want. And when we get a few things, or we get a little bit of light, just because we made a connection, then we say, oh, thank you, God always answers my prayers. When really, in fact, when you went to begging and crying, if you go back, you probably did something, because you may have went and begged and cried, and then you came back and then you said, okay, I know since I begged and cried, he gonna do it. And you change your vibration. And then you got a little bit of something. It wasn't the begging and crying that got you there. Again, find a way to extend the amount of time that you are in alignment with the will of God. Not these short little windows. Not this thing where you walk around thinking that God is this evil monster person that's sitting up in the sky, and if you don't walk right, he's going to chop your head off or cut you up. Or, you know how merciful God is? You know how graceful God is? Do you know how much stuff he overlooks if you want to look at God in that way? I'm just saying. Most of us that call ourselves spiritual need to change that interaction. That if we change the way we pray and the way we approach prayer, our lives would change overnight. Because you go so intensely into this dark, subtractive negative space, and then you go to prayer, you come up out of it, and you've conditioned yourself that it's the right thing to do. And then when you come up out of it, you stay there. That's the vibration you roll with. And so that's the results that you get as you navigate through life. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I've been in so much pain, or I've been so worried about something that I did go in that begging and crying mode. But through the course of that conversation, I had to figure out how to get myself up out of it. One quick, easy way to do it is stop begging and start being grateful. One exercise, if you take my money psychology class, and I think I'm going to be launching the assessments. We're launching 2 assessments next week, and one of them is a money psychology assessment. One of the things, if you take my coaching class or you take one-on-one coaching with me and you tell me I need money and I don't know how I'm going to do it, I'm going to have you go around your house and be grateful for and look at all the things that you've manifested, from your curtains to your table, the placemats, the computer, the dishes, the cups, the plates, the salt, the sugar. And you're going to go through that gratitude exercise. That's one of the things that helps shift you so that when you are approaching God, you're approaching in a more high vibrational level. Or if you do end up getting knocked down, I mean, there's times where you get knocked down into a low vibrational state and you got to seek refuge in Allah. So you go seeking refuge and you're like, oh my God, I'm so low right now. Then you know how to bring yourself up out of it. And you want to look at Allah and understand that Allah is always there. Always. It's just a matter of whether or not we can navigate through the trauma and through what we've been taught to tap in. And how often do you tap in? Again, it's like you're driving down the road and it's a radio station and the channel's going in and out. Or you got Wi-Fi is going in and out. What do you got to do to get that Wi-Fi strong enough so that you can then use your tools, your apps, so you can get what you want? Think of it that way. And most of us are so negative. We always begging. We don't see ourselves properly. We don't love ourselves. We lie to ourselves. We're so spooky that we don't tap in. Our Wi-Fi is shady, not strong, unstable connection. You ever had that happen? You ever try to connect to the Wi-Fi and your device says unstable connection? That's what we have oftentimes with Allah. And the greatness of God is always there. So the minute you tap in, look, you know how fast thought travels. You only need a couple seconds to get it right. So if you get up from that prayer and you acting a bumbling fool and you acting like you don't know what's going to happen and he ain't with you and you get it right for 10 seconds, imagine what can happen in those 10 seconds. But even imagine how much more can happen if we could get it right for an hour. Give me 20 minutes. CDM says, first the believer's meaning, then that intro. Like you said, with the right mindset, we can say, be and it is. I'm all in. Peace. Yeah. Be and it is. Be what? Be what? Who do you need to be? God says, I am. Whatever comes after that, I am, is who you are. I am. Well, what are your actions? Are you a liar? Then it's I am a liar. And then as a liar, there are certain frequencies that you will access and things that you will produce. Or I am a believer. I am powerful. I am a child of God. I am a manifester. Right? So oftentimes what I'll ask Allah is to give me the data that I need so that I can get my mind right. So a lot of times I might be worrying about something, and instead of worrying about it, I'll say, Allah, give me the data that I need. Show me a demonstration. Give me a sample of your presence. Give me the data that I need, because my heart knows everything's going to be all right. It's my mind that's tripping. Give me the data that I need to reconcile my heart and my mind. I say that often. And then things will come. I go, oh, okay, this is why. Oh, okay, mathematically, this is why. Then you got to be able to do your math. Sometimes I'll say, Allah, show me a sign that this is what you want. Give me access to something that helps me with my hope. See, I'm asking for help with the process, not asking for help with the thing. See, because if I'm asking for so much help and begging for so much help with the thing, then my vibration is saying what? The thing ain't here. If I want a car and I don't have a car and I'm begging and begging and begging for a car, then what am I doing? I'm putting out there into the energy that the car ain't there. And so I'm walking around like, man, I ain't got no damn car. I ain't got no car. I wish I had a car. I need a car. Well, that's what I'm going to, even if you don't believe in law of attraction, that's what I'm going to be attracted to. All the situations that support my ego saying, I don't have a car. But if I find myself in that space, because we are human, then sometimes what I'll say to Allah is, Allah, show me evidence that I'm going to have a car. Show me a way in which I can work to get the car. So I ask for help with the mental process, because I can admit and put out into the universe that my mental process is not right. But what I'm not getting ready to do is keep promoting the fact that the thing that I want is not there. So once he says, okay, then I start seeing, and you know how this goes. You start seeing, this is funny, because through geofencing, it's like the advertisers try to mimic God. But the minute you say, send me a sign, show me something, give me some data, help me access something that's going to give me a little bit more confidence that I'm going to find a job. Help me to access something that's going to give me a little bit more data that shows me that I'm going to have a job. Why? Because in my heart, if I don't have a job, my heart knows I'm going to get a job. But I need help with the process. And then when you start getting help with the process, next thing you know, you got 2 or 3 job offers. Allah, I need more clients. If I can just get 10 more clients, I'll be able to live a different lifestyle, or it's going to change my zip code. Well, I wouldn't be in business if I didn't really believe that I could get those 10 clients. So that's where my heart is. My mind is saying, I don't know where these clients going to come from, right? So now, instead of going, I ain't got 10 clients, but I don't know where they're going to come from, I'm going to get it. I take that, I ain't got the 10 clients out of there, and I say, Allah, give me something, point me in the right direction, introduce me to somebody, give me some data that will get me one step closer to those 10 clients or to another client. Let me know in the chat if y'all getting this. So break it down, because if you're trying to eat a piece of cake, you're not going to put the whole cake in your mouth. You're going to eat it in bite-sized chunks. So break it down. Give me to my next client. Who can I talk to? Where should I go this morning? And I might be working at a coffee shop and meet somebody and they say, oh, you know what? I'm looking for a business developer. But if I had not decided to venture out, change up my routine, Maybe instead of sitting in my house all day on the computer, you know, typing and praying and hoping, pick your stuff up. Go to a coffee shop. Go somewhere and sit outside and work. I've done that so many times and met people, met clients, or met somebody who introduced me to somebody. I'll give you one last example. When I first started doing video blogging, no, this was audio blogging on Blog Talk Radio. And there were all these people that were blogging, and they would get all these numbers. They would get these huge numbers. They'd have like 1,000 people on there listening. And I would listen. I would go out there and I might have 20 because I didn't know anybody on Blog Talk Radio. And Blog Talk Radio wasn't big at that time to my demographic. And I was in a weird space because from a corporate standpoint, I was not around a lot of people that I interacted with socially. And then on a social level, people didn't really know me in that way. I didn't really have a family that I came from where everybody was business minded. And so I was in a weird space. So I'd get like a few numbers. And I remember saying, Allah, you are giving me so much and I got to share it. I got to get it out here. This is not, I know you're not giving me all these experiences for me to just hold on to them and just sit here and have everybody say, oh, she knows this or that. Who knows if I don't open my mouth? So I don't know how many people are going to be listening. I don't know how many people are going to be paying attention, but I'm going to start blogging every week, no matter what. I'm just going to do it. And then I was in a position with the firm that I was with where I was getting sick of traveling. I mean, I said, if I don't see another inside of a hotel room, I could care less. I was so tired of traveling because I had built a reputation of kind of being that cleanup woman, the crisis manager. So all the projects that people didn't want, I would end up getting them. And it was lucrative. It was good money, but it was extremely lonely. This is why I end up going to so many Prince concerts, because I'd be in the city and he did 3 tours while I was traveling. And I was like, oh, I'm in Boston. He's going to be here 3 nights. I'm going all 3 nights. I ain't got nothing to do. I'm stuck here in Boston. We get off at 5. And that's how I ended up being a Prince super fan. Well, I was already a Prince super fan, but I was in New Power Generation, but that's how I would find out about all the concerts I would go because I was out there on the road, or I would at least be close to something. Point being is this. I said I was going to blog. And then I said, I know I had learned that if I'm just being authentic, if I put who I am out here and I get an opportunity to be myself, because I can't really be that at work and I can't really be that with friends and family, but let me start blogging. Let me just be myself. Let me talk about the things I love, life, love, and business, right? Let's just do that. I can't tell you how many people I met from that blog. And in that particular space, when I said, I remember saying to Allah, I said, Allah, all these things that I do for somebody else, I want to have the capacity to do for myself. I make these people millions of dollars. I literally would be negotiating $80 million contracts, putting stuff together on a high level. I know how they roll. I know how they act. I know what the vibe is like at that income level. And a lot of people don't know this, but I want an opportunity. And then I said this. I said, and I want a business partner where I can have somebody to bounce something off of, have fun with. That was like in December of maybe 2009, something like that. And I don't know, round in there somewhere, but it was in December. And then Super Bowl weekend, which is generally in February, who became my business partner, Dr. Dormu, somebody reached out to me and said that he had a nonprofit organization that he was trying to promote. They were trying to get some grants. And I said, well, why don't they come on to the show? I said, it was a really good program. Came on the show. I never met him, never talked to him, and interviewed him. Nonprofit organization, somebody doing for self, trying to help young Black boys in the Washington, D.C. area. We got off the phone. He got my number and he called me and said, hey, thank you. I really appreciated that. And started talking to me about his business and what he wanted to do. Long story short, we ended up becoming business partners, building a $20 million hospital together and a ton of other clinics and wellness centers. I've met people who have become the person who motivated me to write my book was a white guy who was a shaman. And he was doing these money psychology seminars. And he said, you should do money psychology seminars geared towards your people. He said, because I get Black people all the time and I don't really know the sojourn. And I said, wow. He said, you need to write a book. I said, well, I got a lot of stuff written. I got enough. He said, you got to come out with it. Write the book. So I put all these essays together and sent it to him. And he was like, what are you sending it to me for? I'm not about to proofread it. Put it out. But he pushed me to start doing webinars. And then he said to me, this is from me interviewing him. The second time I interviewed him, he said, you have so much stuff that comes from your family, your religion, your experiences. You just need to create your own brand. And I was like, wow. But it's so much I could tell you just from being your authentic self, just from putting it out there. So wherever I go, if I took belly dance aerobics in Washington, D.C. and met so many powerful sisters and people who are still friends close to this day. I'm just telling you, when you are your authentic self, the environment rises up to meet you and answers your prayers. All right, family. Thank you, Roxanne Williams. She said, this is awesome. All praises due to Allah. It's Black Opera in White Day, y'all. So bring yourself, bring your beautiful self, bring your beautiful energy. We want to heal people today. We want to heal ourselves. We want people to have access to high vibrations. If you got something you're going through, come on and bring it. I love hooking people up. I want your life to be different as a result of you just coming into this space. This is a no judgment zone. We ain't hating on nobody. It's a beautiful, loving environment. We're going to have fun in a classy way. And we're going to listen, just come on. Be on time, though. Be on time. And don't tell me you didn't come because you didn't have no white. Because if you ain't got no white, just come on anyway. There'll be enough people in white. It'll be okay. All right, family. Love you all. You could go to the website. There's a few tickets left. Okay. Go to sajdahouse.com. And in the middle, scrolling across in yellow, is click to buy. It'll say click here to buy tickets. Or just go to Eventbrite and type in Black Opera in White. It'll pop up. Get your tickets. But don't miss it. And if you can't make it, then make a donation. My mom, I'm so grateful. She made a donation yesterday, 2 tickets. And I had somebody who just called me. It was a sister, and she said, I'm going through a divorce and me and my daughter want to come. We don't have the money right now. I was able to call her right away and say, I got you 2 tickets, girl. Come on. Okay. So come on. We got a lot of people flying in from out of town. Sister Monica's on her way to the airport. Sister Sadia and Sister Naisha on their way to the airport. Sister Dawn and her husband on their way to the airport. There was a couple yesterday that is already here. They in town. They have flown in. Listen, y'all. And then we also celebrating and excited about the birth anniversary of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Look, it's just high energy up in here today. All right. Sister Aletha's going to be on the scene. Sister Aletha's one of them popular people. She got all them secret admirers. So they be texting me, Sister Aletha going to be there? I'm like, yeah, Aletha going to be there. Aletha going to be there. Sister Margaret Matthew from Bronzeville, the musical, who actually introduced me to Arlesia, the opera singer. She's going to be present. And guess what? They going back to the Apollo, y'all. Look, this is about success. This is about love. This is, don't be saying, ha, Aletha. You know it's true. Okay. I see y'all, inshallah, this evening. Black Opera in White, 3 p.m. Don't be late. Be in your white. Bring yourself. Be ready to heal. Be ready to be human medicine to somebody else and be ready to experience some human medicine. All right. Remember, it's not personal. It's vibrational. And we'll see you all, inshallah, next week.